Now at 5, volunteers with the Wildcat Glades Friends Group clean graffiti at the park. Plus, some KCU Joplin medical students provide local elementary students with a medical screening. And New York's Attorney General files a civil fraud lawsuit against former President Trump, his children, and the Trump Organization.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Wildcat Glades Conservation Area in Joplin is trying to keep nature clean from graffiti. This is KOAM News at 5. Maddie Jackson, a naturalist from Wildcat Glades Friends Group, says their conservation areas are often targeted for graffiti. She says spray paint has particles which are harmful to wildlife. Also, people who are coming to nature to get away from the city keep seeing the graffiti all over, which might not be the escape they want. Jackson also says removing spray paint isn't easy or cheap.
That stuff is really expensive. A little tube of eco-friendly cleaner, because we try not to use those really heavy chemical-based things that can, wash into the waterways. It's really expensive. It's $70 for a tiny little tube of it.
Jackson reminds people who use the park to call police if they see someone spray painting, as it is classified as vandalism. Score One for Health is hosting elementary students from Columbia and West Central schools in Joplin. This program is held at Joplin's Kansas City University and allows second-year medical students to head-to-toe physical assessments, oral screenings, and vision tests. Elementary students also participate in a STEM education activity.
I think getting to meet the kids that are in the Joplin community. I come from the East Coast, and so getting to work with the kids on here has just been fantastic. They're so lovely, so smart, so sweet and kind, and it's been a really great experience.
KCU medical students will help examine students at all 11 Joplin elementary schools this semester. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced a 5-year, $9 million grant to improve student behavioral health in Southeast Kansas. That grant aims to address the behavioral health needs of nearly 40,000 students. An official with the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas says the grant will impact children without resources.
So if someone is struggling to come to school ready to learn because they have food insecurities or transportation issues, or maybe they're not sure if they're going to have a place to stay the next night, our community health workers can really step in and be that bridge between the resources and support that we have in the schools and the resources and support that families and students need at home.
Gagnon says Community Health Center will be able to add a school-based community health worker in Pittsburgh and Fort Scott school districts. It is a hot final day of summer. Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we set record highs across the region for us today. It looks like we hit about 99 for an afternoon high, but we have a cold front that is dropping in. You can see all the cumulus clouds out there today, and this line of showers and thunderstorms has developed over the past couple hours, and we're going to see these kind of drift toward the south and to the east as this cold front continues to push south. But you can see from Stockton Lake, Nevada, just to the north of Lamar, some of these a little bit stronger. We haven't seen anything severe. Just south of Fort Scott over towards Chanute and just to the north of Fredonia. But the bigger batch of rain out across parts of Nebraska, and that will start to affect us as we head into tomorrow. Look at the temps, upper 90s right now. So it's super hot, but a huge cool down heading in our direction. We're going to talk about it here in just a bit.
See you then. In his address to the United Nations General Assembly, President Biden called on the world to stand up to Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. The president stressed the importance of the UN in that mission. He also announced nearly $3 billion in global food security aid to address shortages caused in part by Russia's invasion. The New York Attorney General has filed a new civil lawsuit today against the Trump Organization. It seeks to stop former President Donald Trump and his 3 eldest children from ever running another business in the state. Mr. Trump says this is a political attack. Reporter Skylar Henry has details from Washington, D.C.
New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a lawsuit claiming former President Donald Trump and 3 of his children committed fraud.
The statements of financial condition were greatly exaggerated, grossly inflated, objectively false, and therefore fraudulent.
The lawsuit accuses the Trump Organization of providing false financial statements to lenders and insurers in order to get better financial terms, such as lower interest rates and lower premiums. James, a Democrat, alleges Trump and his family business violated several state criminal laws and plausibly broke federal criminal laws as well.
There is a parallel criminal investigation being conducted by the District Attorney of Manhattan, and we are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney, and any information that he is requesting, we will submit it to his office.
Lawyers for former President Trump called the lawsuit meritless and an unchecked abuse of authority. They also say it's politics as usual. In a statement, Trump's attorney said today's filing is neither focused on the facts nor the law. Rather, it's solely focused on advancing the Attorney General's political agenda.
It's hard for me not to conclude it's a political hit job. And this is a woman who campaigned for office promising she was going to go after Trump.
The former president had a more personal response for Attorney General James, saying she's a failed AG whose lack of talent in the fight against crime is causing record numbers of people and companies to flee New York. Bye-bye. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Donald Trump has hinted at running for the White House again in 2024. Schools across the country are facing a wave of disruptions from false reports of school shootings and threats. The false reports have students, parents, and teachers on edge and have attracted the attention of federal authorities who warn of serious consequences for hoax threats. Still ahead, another move from the Federal Reserve.
Interest rates are on the rise again. I'm Naomi Ruckham with the Federal Reserve's latest move to combat inflation.
And next in Health Watch, what a new report shows about the current rate of substance abuse among adolescents. Topping today's Health Watch, it's World Alzheimer's Day. An estimated 55 million people across the globe are living with dementia. Here in the U.S., more than 6 million Americans and counting are living with Alzheimer's disease. Almost 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women and older Black Americans who are more likely to have the disease or suffer from other dementias compared to older white Americans. New research shows substance abuse among adolescents in the U.S. is declining overall, but experts are concerned about an increase that they're seeing in vaping and cannabis use. Reporter Christian Benavides has more.
Adolescents face a barrage of difficult choices when confronted with alcohol, cigarettes, cannabis, and e-cigarettes. A new study from Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health looks at those choices. For nearly 3 decades, researchers tracked more than 500,000 young people in the U.S.
We have seen smoking go down, we have seen alcohol use go down, which is wonderful news. But we've also seen cannabis use go up, and we've seen vaping go up really quickly.
Study author Noah Kresge says substance use was higher in highly social teens and those who gathered in groups with less supervision. How today's young people view alcohol, smoking, and cannabis may also be a factor.
The increases in vaping are some of the largest, if not the largest, they have tracked in this study in its history. The trends are just so universal that there's absolutely a need to talk to your young people about vaping and cannabis especially.
It's estimated about 2 million middle and high school students currently use e-cigarettes.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping.
A new campaign from the American Lung Association is raising awareness about the risks.
If we want to make vaping unattractive, uncool to the youth right now, it's kind of like we have to play fire with fire, right? They're not going to find them unattractive because of a doctor telling them. The way they're going to find them unattractive is by their own peers messaging.
Visit talkaboutVaping.org.
And the campaign encourages parents to have the vape talk to help kids steer clear of the harmful habit. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Researchers also show that adolescents who use e-cigarettes are 4 times more likely to try traditional cigarettes. Type 2 diabetes takes the greatest toll on the life expectancy of women, younger people, and smokers. That's according to new analysis from the UK. Diabetic women are 60% more likely to die prematurely. For people diagnosed before the age of 65, it's 93%. The research also found smokers with diabetes lived 10 years less than the general population. And school-aged children with autism who are exposed to air pollution appear to be at a higher risk of being admitted to the hospital. New research in the journal BMJ Open looked at hospital admissions over 4 years along with air quality. The risk of hospitalization was higher for boys. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about cat paws.
Plus, rain chances increasing, also cooler temperatures. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, we have big changes rolling in as we go through the next 12 to 24 hours, which is good because we set record highs for us today. All week long, we've been near record highs. Partly cloudy skies. We have those cumulus clouds which have been popping up. We're looking at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Seneca, Missouri. But look at this cold front dropping south in our northern counties. Right along the front, we're seeing some showers, some thunderstorms, a few stronger ones. Nothing too strong, nothing severe. We're looking at Stockton over toward Nevada. Here's I-49. Here's Lamar, so just to the north of Lamar. These work a little bit farther west, just southeast of Fort Scott, and then a little bit more isolated once you get on the Kansas side. So we have one little guy east of Chanute, and then a couple little showers just north of Fredonia. These are going to last over the next couple hours and kind of drift into southwestern Missouri, but most likely will fall apart before they make it to the I-44 corridor, so most of the metro is going to stay dry as we go through the evening hours. But this front's heading in, which is great news. This bigger batch of rain, Nebraska, northern parts of Kansas, that will affect us tomorrow with a lot of clouds and kind of on and off showers as we go through the day. Through the evening hours, northern counties, scattered thunderstorms. Everybody else, mainly dry as we drop back as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. But look at our temps. This is crazy. It's still 98 in Joplin, 98 in Parsons, 97 in Chanute. We have 96, Veneta, 94 in Anderson. So it's super hot outside, but look at our front, drifting south. Now all about, about Lamar, just north of Pittsburgh, just to the south of Chanute, and temperatures are really going to drop behind it. In Joplin, 98, westerly winds at 10 to 15, humidity is at 30%. Most of our best rain chances really start to increase mid-morning, and then we'll start to taper off as we head into the afternoon, and then we look pretty good Friday, mainly on the dry side. Let's step through time. 7 p.m., scattered thunderstorms. Again, northern counties slide south and east, most of us dry. Here's midnight. Let's go into the morning hours. Look at the rain increasing again. Northern counties, Fort Scott, Iola, Chanute, Parsons. The front's through at this point in time. Showers drop into Pittsburgh, the metro, 7, 8, 9 a.m. On and off light showers through the morning hours. Here's 10 a.m. And then most of the showers work out of here by the time we head into the afternoon. Take note of the temperatures. We'll start at 64, 66 by noon, only 68 by 5 p.m. So a huge, huge switch for us by the time we head into tomorrow. Rainfall amounts, very light, 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch, but we will take whatever we can get across the region. So almost 30 degrees cooler for us tomorrow. First day of fall. We'll be lucky if we hit 70. We'll most likely stay in the mid-60s most of the day. Back to 95 on Saturday. Much more comfortable temperatures for us next week as we stay mainly into the 80s. But this is going to be a big switch coming in tomorrow.
This is nuts.
I know it's all over, but this is what I like. I like to see these weather changes.
Keeps you employed.
It does.
Something to talk about. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the Federal Reserve's decision on whether to raise interest rates again. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Sandra Spencer served in the U.S. Army from 1963 to 1966. The Carthage, Missouri native was stationed at Fort Ritchie, Maryland, and we salute Private First Class Sandra Spencer, our four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Federal Reserve is making another major move to slow inflation. But the latest decision will also make it more expensive for Americans to borrow money. Naomi Ruckham reports.
The Federal Reserve is taking another shot in the fight against inflation.
High inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials.
Wednesday, Chairman Jerome Powell and the Fed board raised a key rate 0.75 of a percentage point. The fifth rate hike this year comes as prices for essentials continue to rise. Electricity bills are up almost 16% compared to a year ago. Housing is 6% higher, and prices at the grocery store continue to soar, frustrating many shoppers. And what do you think of prices right now?
I think they're ridiculous. They're outrageous.
The Fed's latest move is designed to slow down the economy and ease rising prices, but it's also pushing up loan costs. A new survey from Bankrate found the average credit card interest rate is more than 18%, an all-time high. And even though the Fed doesn't directly set fixed mortgage rates, they continue to soar. A 30-year mortgage rate is just over 6%, more than double 1 year ago.
Fed officials see inflation fighting as job one.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the Fed's aggressive action has some economists worried about a recession.
If policy starts to work, the economy will slow down by enough, hopefully by not too much, to create a recession.
The Federal Reserve is expected to raise rates 2 more times this year. The next hike could come in November. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Federal regulators are taking a closer look at Amazon's plans to buy iRobot for $1.7 billion. In a regulatory filing, iRobot says it and Amazon received a request for more information in connection with a Federal Trade Commission review of the deal. Both Amazon and iRobot said they would cooperate with that review. Groups urging the FTC to block the merger say it helps Amazon enhance its monopoly power in the smart home market. And the National Transportation Safety Board wants all new vehicles in the U.S. to come equipped with blood alcohol monitoring systems. The technology can stop an intoxicated person from getting behind the wheel. If enacted, the recommendation could lower the number of alcohol-related crashes, which are among the biggest causes of highway deaths. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatens possible nuclear war. Then on KOAM News at 6, the story of a local man who had criminal charges falsely added to his record and has now cleared his name. Plus, what a new poll shows about Missouri's voters' thoughts on abortion rights. And the Missouri Southern Lions prepare to hit the road against Fort Hays State this weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Features of various animals have adapted to all sorts of environments and needs. Well, today's question for our Pet Vet on Call comes from Art. He asks, how is it that a cat's foot pads are always so soft?
Well, unlike dogs that can really build up some nice, hard protective calluses, cats' feet always stay soft. And the reason is that they have a lot of extra fatty tissue in their feet that acts for shock absorption when they jump or fall out of high places. And it also is what allows them to prowl silently so they can sneak up quietly on their prey and make dinner time a little bit more successful.
Thanks for the question, Art. We invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. Look at this. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have a young female husky mix named Oreo, for obvious reasons. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have this really cute domestic short-hair kitten named Theodore. Little boy, obviously. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have lots of great ones to choose from.
They do.
It's amazing, Doug. Last day of summer, and it is record heat or close to it, and then suddenly the first day of fall is going to come in like fall. Like
I know.
that.
We set record highs for us today, almost about 100 degrees. We're going to be about 30 degrees cooler for us tomorrow. Most of the day, in fact, we'll sit into the mid-60s, on and off light showers. It doesn't last long. We heat back up on Friday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. We'll be right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.